There is a kind of man who never fully lets you go, but he never fully steps in either. At first, that is hard to name because nothing looks completely wrong. He still answers. He still comes back. He still knows how to say just enough to keep the door open. A late-night text. A miss you when you have gone quiet. A plan he almost makes, then leaves hanging. A warm voice note after 2 dry days. Just enough to make you think maybe this is still moving somewhere. And that is exactly why this gets so confusing. Because you are not dealing with clean rejection. You are dealing with selective presence. He stays close enough to keep emotional access to you, while keeping his real options open somewhere else. That is why it feels so unstable. 1 week, he is attentive. He asks how your day went. He remembers something you said. He sends a message in the morning like he is trying to build something real. Then a shift happens. Replies get slower. Plans get vague. You ask what he is doing Saturday, and instead of a simple answer, you get, "I'll let you know." You send something thoughtful, and he reacts with 1 short line hours later. Then suddenly, when you start pulling your energy back, there he is again. Interested, warm, present, almost like the old version of him. Almost. And that word matters. Because the man who truly chooses you does not keep reappearing in fragments. He does not give you just enough attention to stop you from leaving while he keeps scanning the room for something else. He does not treat your care like a waiting room. What makes this hit so hard is that he often does not look careless. He can look conflicted, sweet even. He may tell you he likes you. He may say he has a lot going on. He may act tender in private, then become hard to pin down the moment anything starts to require steadiness. So now you are left staring at your phone, reading the last good message again, trying to understand how a man can sound interested and still move like someone keeping 1 foot out the door. And little by little, you start blaming yourself. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe I changed the tone. Maybe I should have stayed more casual. Maybe if I were a little lighter, a little easier, a little less honest about what I want, he would stop drifting. No. What you are feeling is not confusion for no reason. It is the emotional effect of being kept nearby without being clearly chosen. He likes knowing you are there. He likes that he can reach for you. He likes that your attention has not fully gone away. But liking access to you is not the same as building a life with you. And once you see that, the whole thing starts to look different. What he is doing usually looks small when you describe it out loud. He does not disappear completely. He just becomes unreliable in very specific ways. He leaves messages sitting there for half a day, but then watches your story. He talks about seeing you, but does not lock in the plan. He sends, "How have you been?" after 3 quiet days, but skips right past the fact that he was the one who created the distance. He keeps coming back with a soft tone, but never with clear movement. So now you are stuck in that familiar place. You see his name on your phone and feel that quick lift in your chest. Then you open the message, and it is nothing solid. Just enough warmth to wake your hope back up. Not enough clarity to let you relax. That is not a man trying to build something carefully. That is a man trying to keep his place in your life without taking full responsibility for what that place means. And that is an important difference. Because when a man truly does not want you, he often leaves. But when a man wants to keep you as an option, he does something more confusing than leaving. He manages your expectations just enough to stop you from walking away. He gives you pieces. A check-in text when you are getting quiet. A sudden burst of attention after canceled plans. A compliment when he feels you pulling back. A miss you with no real change behind it. That is why this pattern can last so long. Not because it is deep, because it is intermittent. He gives you just enough to keep the bond alive, then steps back before anything asks more of him. And a woman can lose months inside that kind of pattern. Not because she is foolish, because the mixed signals keep interrupting the truth. Every time you start to accept that he is not really showing up, he does something that makes you question your own clarity. He replies fast for one night. He gets sweet again. He mentions a future plan. He acts jealous. He asks who you were out with. And for a second, it feels like maybe this means more than it seemed. But it usually does not. It usually means he felt the distance and wanted to secure access again. That is the first thing to understand here. He is not confused in the same way you are confused. You are trying to understand the pattern. He is trying to preserve the benefit of it. A lot of women think this means he must be deeply torn. Sometimes that is what he wants you to believe. But a man who keeps you around without choosing you is often not struggling with deep feelings. He is managing convenience. He likes having someone he can text when the night feels empty. He likes knowing there is still a woman who will answer with warmth. He likes the comfort of being known, wanted, welcomed. He likes that he can come close when he feels lonely, then drift when something else gets his attention. That does not always look cruel from the outside. Sometimes it looks like inconsistency. Sometimes it looks like poor timing. Sometimes it looks like a man who has a lot going on. But when you strip away the soft wording, the pattern is simple. He wants the benefits of being chosen by you without carrying the weight of choosing you back. That is why his effort rises and falls depending on your availability. When you are there, when you are kind, when you still reply, he relaxes. He knows the line is still open. But when your messages get shorter, when you stop asking, when you stop making it easy for him to slide back in, suddenly he has more to say. Suddenly he is checking in. Suddenly he wants to see you. Not because clarity finally arrived, because access started to feel less secure. That is the part many women miss. His renewed attention is not always a sign of deeper intention. Sometimes it is just a reaction to losing his position. You can see it in the small things. He leaves you hanging all afternoon, but the minute your tone changes, he sends 2 extra messages. He avoids talking about what this is, but gets restless when you stop being as available. He cannot offer consistency, but he does not like the idea of you becoming unavailable to him either. So he keeps the thread alive. Not enough to build trust, just enough to prevent closure. And that is why this can hurt more than a clean ending. A clean ending lets pain move. This pattern keeps pain circling. You keep thinking the answer is almost here. One more talk, one more good weekend, one more honest message. But the real answer has often been in his behavior for a long time. He is not building, he is maintaining access. This is where women usually turn against themselves, not all at once, quietly. You start reviewing every message. You read your own words back and wonder if you sounded too available, too serious, too warm, too honest. You remember the night he was affectionate, the way he held you, the way he looked at you, and then you try to figure out what changed after that. You sit there editing a text 3 times before sending it, trying to sound calm, trying not to ask for too much, trying not to scare off a man who is already halfway out. That kind of self-monitoring wears a woman down, because now the whole focus is on how to keep his attention, not on why his attention is so unstable in the first place. And once that happens, you can start calling his behavior normal just to survive it. You tell yourself he is busy. You tell yourself men move slower. You tell yourself maybe he just needs more time. You tell yourself not everyone is good at texting. Meanwhile, you are the one staring at your phone at 11:40 at night, after he said he would let you know. You are the one pretending a vague reply did not sting. You are the one trying to act unbothered by a man who reaches for you only when it suits him. That is what self-blame does. It keeps moving the spotlight off his pattern and back onto your personality. So instead of asking, "Why does he only show up in pieces?" you ask, "How can I become easier to choose?" And that question is where a lot of women abandon themselves. Because the truth is, you were never struggling to become valuable enough. You were standing in front of a man who liked having access to your care without offering the safety of a real place in his life. No amount of perfect wording fixes that. No amount of patience turns option-keeping into devotion. A woman can spend a long time trying to earn what was never being seriously offered. And the saddest part is that she often does it while blaming herself for the hunger he created. What makes this so hard to walk away from is not just him. It is the version of you that keeps hoping the good moments meant more. Because there were moments that felt real. That is what keeps a woman attached to a man like this. Not constant care, fragments of care. A long conversation when you needed one. A night where he was fully present. A look on his face that made you feel wanted. A soft message at the exact moment you were about to let go. Those moments can stay in your body longer than the truth. So even when his pattern is hurting you, part of you keeps waiting for that version of him to come back. The warm one, the open one, the one who sounded sure, the one who made it feel like this was going somewhere. And that waiting can become its own kind of heartbreak. Because you are not only dealing with what he is doing now, you are also grieving what he briefly made you believe was possible. That is why women in this pattern often look calm on the outside, but feel worn down inside. They go to dinner with friends and still check the phone under the table. They put the phone face down and then turn it back over 5 minutes later. They tell themselves they are done, then feel their chest tighten the second his name lights up the screen again. It is exhausting because hope keeps getting restarted. Not by real change, by small emotional touches. That is how option-keeping works when it is done well. He does not need to fully show up. He only needs to reawaken your hope before it dies. A message at the right hour. A sudden softness after distance. A little bit of closeness before he fades again. And now you are not standing in a clear ending. You are standing in repeated emotional interruption. That is why this hurts in such a specific way. It makes you feel almost chosen. And almost chosen can keep a woman stuck far longer than rejection ever could. After a while, you start to see that this is not about one bad week, one misunderstanding, or one moment when he got overwhelmed. It is a method. Not always a fully planned one, but still a method. He keeps you in a gray area where you cannot relax, but you also cannot fully leave. He does not give you the steadiness of a real relationship, but he gives you enough contact to stop the bond from dying. Enough to keep you emotionally involved while he stays free to look around, stay detached, or see what else opens up. That is why his behavior can feel strangely calculated even when he acts casual. He does not need to say, "Wait for me." He just has to behave in a way that keeps you waiting anyway. A text right when you are pulling back. A flirty message after days of silence. A last-minute plan when he senses your patience is thinning. A soft apology with no real change behind it. And the woman on the receiving end starts living inside that gray area. She stops asking for clear answers because every time she gets close to clarity, he gives her just enough warmth to make directness feel risky. She does not want to ruin the good mood. She does not want to seem demanding. She does not want to push away the little bit of closeness she is still getting. So the pattern stays alive. That is the bigger realization. He is not just undecided. He is comfortable benefiting from your uncertainty. As long as you stay emotionally available, he does not have to face a real choice. He can keep your care nearby while staying open to whatever else he wants. And because he never says this plainly, you keep trying to read between the lines, hoping there is something deeper there. But the pattern itself is the answer. A man who wants to truly build with you does not need to keep you in suspense to hold your place. He does not keep testing how little he can give and still have access to you. He makes it easier for you to feel secure, not harder. Once you really see that, the confusion begins to break. Usually, the truth was not hidden. It was just easier to question yourself than to accept what his behavior was showing you. You saw that he was different when he feared losing access. Suddenly, the replies came faster. Suddenly, he wanted to talk. Suddenly, he sounded more certain. But when you were warm, available, and still there, the effort dropped again. That was not random. You saw that plans stayed loose unless they served him. You saw how often maybe replaced real intention. You saw how he could be deeply affectionate in one moment, then strangely detached the next, as if closeness was something he liked visiting but not living inside. And you saw how rarely he risked anything real. He did not make things plain. He did not give you security. He did not move forward with steadiness. He mostly reacted when he felt you slipping away. Those signs were there. But many women ignore signs like that because the mind keeps giving them softer meanings. He is scared. He is tired. He is confused. He has been hurt before. And maybe some of that is true. But none of it changes what it feels like to be on the receiving end of unstable care. That is the part women often push past. They focus on why he might be this way, instead of admitting what it costs them to live inside it. So you ignored the sinking feeling after another vague text. You ignored how anxious you felt waiting for simple follow-through. You ignored how often you had to calm yourself down after hearing from him. You ignored the fact that peace only came when you expected less. And that matters. Because when a woman keeps overriding her own discomfort, she can stay loyal to a pattern that is slowly draining her. Not because she is weak, because she is trying to be fair. She is trying to understand. She is trying not to judge too quickly. But there comes a point where understanding him too much becomes a way of abandoning yourself. The shift starts when you stop asking whether he cares in some partial way, and start asking whether this feels safe to keep living in. That is a different question. Because yes, he may care in the way some men care when they do not want to lose access to a woman who has been good to them. He may miss you. He may think about you. He may even feel something real in certain moments, but none of that changes the pattern. You are still the one checking whether his mood has changed. You are still the one bracing for the drop after the warmth. You are still the one trying not to say too much because you already know consistency might disappear again. At some point, a woman gets tired in a deeper way. Not dramatic, not loud, just clear. She stops wanting to decode every text. She stops feeling flattered by attention that arrives only when she is halfway out the door. She stops calling crumbs a complicated love story. She starts seeing that being kept around is not romantic, and it is not flattering. It is a quiet insult to her emotional life. That is when her center starts coming back. She no longer needs to prove she is worth choosing. She starts noticing that a man who truly values her does not need the threat of losing her to become attentive. He does not become tender only when access is slipping. He does not leave her guessing for days, and then return with just enough softness to reset the cycle. And once she feels that truth in her body, not just in her mind, something settles. She becomes less available to confusion. Not because she is angry, because she is done offering deep access to someone who only wants partial responsibility. That is the shift. She stops chasing the meaning of his behavior and starts protecting the meaning of her own. The hardest part to accept is this: he may have liked you, he may have enjoyed you, he may have meant some of what he said, and still, he did not choose you in the way that gives a woman peace. That is the line that matters. Because a woman can waste so much time trying to measure sincerity in a man who never offered stability. She keeps asking whether the feelings were real, while her real life is being lived inside uncertainty. Days of wondering, nights of checking the phone, conversations with friends where she keeps trying to explain why a man who sounds interested keeps acting like she is only there for when it suits him. But in the end, the clearest truth is usually the simplest one. A man who wants to keep you as an option will protect access. A man who is ready to choose you will protect the bond. Those are not the same thing. Once you understand that, you stop needing one last perfect explanation. You stop waiting for the final message that makes everything make sense. You stop trying to squeeze certainty out of a pattern built on vagueness. And you begin to leave the gray area inside yourself before you leave it anywhere else. You stop reaching first. You stop holding open emotional space for someone who only visits it. You stop calling almost love by a bigger name than it deserves. Not because you are bitter, because your life becomes lighter when you stop offering loyalty to someone who only offered return access. And there is dignity in that kind of ending. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind. The kind where you finally understand that being kept around was never the same as being valued, and you no longer need to stay close to a man just because he knows how to come back before you are fully gone.